these nuts that are going to go back on to the pots and secure the whole thing back to the amp. Right, so I'm happy with this circuit board. All these pots and everything spin lovely now. So I'm happy with that. That will do me well. So I'm hoping that when I put those all back on, it's made the difference and it's fixed the crackling and stuff. So I'm going to move that out of the way for a minute and put it up there, because I then, my God, just want to have a look at this, because there's another circuit board here, but I think this is unlikely to have any real kind of effect, because really what we've got here is the cables for DI box and monitor and things like that, and then just these bits which are effects send or sends for something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray these, just give these a bit of a clean. Now let's see if we can put it all back together. So, right. First we need the circuit boards. So let's ease that back into place. Shush. Right. Now, not quite. No, this came out reasonably straightforward. So why is it not going back in reasonably straightforward? Is it because I haven't got everything lined up? There we go. There we go. It's because I haven't got everything lined up. Right. So I'm going to pop these LEDs back in. They're kind of holders. So that's that. That is that one. And that is that one. So that's the LEDs back in. Let's make sure these are all through. So that they all work. Right, there we go, that's in. Right, so what we're going to do now, just start putting on these nuts. Okay, so I have put it all back together in terms of the circuit boards in there. I've put the nuts on, so I'm just going to replace these little things that will go on the ends. So I've turned all the dials to number 10, and I'll just pop those back on. So I'm just going to reconnect this back up, see if I can get it back in where it should be. Right, so apologies, my phone battery died. So in the meantime, whilst I had no video, I've done a few things. What I've done is I have sanded down and resprayed the screws. I have tacked in these ones, but not completely. So some of these still in the very middle have a touch of kind of rust colour in there. So I've just done it as a sort of filler really. I've also sanded and resprayed this. So this now looks nice and even and black all over. So I'm just putting it all back together really. So I'm going to get a little bit of super glue, CA glue. I'm just going to touch it onto these spacers, which then go onto these bits here, and allow me to then screw the front framing. But without doing it, I've got to figure out which tiny little square they go in and then where they go. So the easiest thing is to just dab a little bit of this on, and then he says, there we go, dab a little bit of this on, stick it in place, and then it should hold. He says, taking a little bit longer than normal. What I should have is some accelerant really, but I haven't got any. Anyone know any good jokes? So let's try this now, see if this is going to work. Do you know what? I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to stick on these black feet again that go on the corners, the bumper corners. And then I think the last thing I'm going to do is a handle. So let me crack on with these. I think my phone is about to die again, so I may lose the last bit of this video, but very quickly what I'm doing now is I'm just finishing the handle. So the handle's not in bad shape really, it just, the metal bits are a bit rusty. So I'm just giving the rubber a bit of a wipe, and that will be good enough for that. So that's good enough for that. Then what I'm going to do with these, because you've just started to see these go, I'm just going to sand these back, sand this back, sand it till it's kind of rough, and then I'm going to spray them black again very quickly. Screws don't need it because they're all right, and then I'm going to put it back together again. So where did I, there they are. So I'm probably going to do this with 1,000 grit. I don't know if I know, probably less than that, probably 400. Right, we are done. Let me go and spray these and I'll be back. Right, so here we have our metal parts sprayed. Not a perfect job, I have to say. There's a couple of little bits I probably would have sanded down a little bit more, but given that this is just supposed to be a little bit of a tidy up, and it's only a 40-50 pound amp, I'm not desperately worried. So let's get this on. So I have the screws. So there's one, and where's the other one gone? Lost the other screw. Where did that go? Is it underneath? Oh, there we go. It's underneath. Right. Let us is a vegetable. Let us get this back on the amp. Alright, let's get this screwed back in. So the first screw goes in there. So here it is. When I started off, this was rusty, dirty, had dirt all the way along here, like ingrained. It was all rusty along here, it was rusty across here, all that kind of stuff. Years of dust inside the speaker cone. This was grimy as anything, and now it's nice and clean, tidy. I've done a little bit of a tidy up on some of these, resprayed the screws, cleaned all of this black vinyl, did the back as well, so I cleaned all of that. Looks a little bit yellow in this light, but that's just because the light's on. And then I cleaned all the back as well, so all of that is lovely. So that is it. Not bad for a day's work. So the only thing I haven't done yet, I'm going to do this little thing here. I'm just going to stick a little bit of CA glue on there. I'm going to push that over like that and hold it in place till it's stuck. Then I'm going to plug it in and see whether it works, see whether all that spraying of the electronics and everything has fixed it. So what I'm doing here is I've put some CA glue on the hole, and then I've pressed and pushed the vinyl back over like this, and I just keep doing that until I know that it's taken and it's not coming off again. So if I put the knife away and you look at that, you'd be hard pressed to know quite where the damage was, certainly from a distance. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. Right, let's plug her in and try her out. So I've finished the Laney amp. It is done and ready to go to somebody else who might use it for a good 20 years maybe. So I've done everything on it, I've put it back together. So let's have a quick look round, see what I've done. And is now going to go on the marketplace and see if anyone will buy it. So yeah, another job done.